Long ago, in the ancient land of Babylon, people lived under the rule of a powerful king named Nimrod. The people of this land did not worship one god. Instead, they filled their temples with stone idols, carved by their own hands, and bowed before them every day. They believed these statues could give them blessings, protect them from harm, and control their lives. The king himself claimed to be a god, and no one dared to question him. But one night, something unusual happened. A baby was born, and this child would grow up to challenge everything they believed in. Before Ibrahim A.S. was born, the king had a strange dream. In that dream, he saw a shining star appear in the sky, and that star destroyed his entire kingdom. Frightened, Nimrod called his advisors and magicians. They told him, "A boy will be born, and he will bring the end of your rule." Out of fear, the king ordered that every baby boy born that year should be killed. But Allah had a plan. Ibrahim's mother hid him in a small cave outside the city. She left him there, praying for his safety. In that dark cave, away from people, baby Ibrahim grew up under Allah's protection. Years passed, and the young Ibrahim began to walk and talk. He grew strong and intelligent. One night, he stepped out of the cave and looked up at the sky. He saw a bright star and whispered, "This must be my Lord." But when the star disappeared, he said, "I do not love those that set." Then he saw the moon, shining beautifully. "This is my Lord," he thought. But when it faded away, he rejected that too. Later, he saw the sun rise, strong and bright. "This is my Lord, the greatest," he thought. But when the sun went down, he realized none of these were his Lord. His heart understood that the true Creator never disappears, never changes, and is far greater than the sun, moon, or stars. From that moment, Ibrahim S. knew that the people around him were lost. They were worshiping things that could not hear, speak, or help them. He felt a powerful truth inside his heart. He had found the path of the one true God, but he also knew the world outside that cave was not ready to hear this truth. His journey was about to begin, and it would shake the kingdom to its core. As Ibrahim A.S. grew older, he finally left the cave and entered the city where his people lived. What he saw shocked him. Everywhere he looked, people were bowing to statues. Men, women, and even children carried small idols around their necks and prayed to them for rain, food, and health. Large temples were filled with tall stone figures. The people would decorate them with flowers, offer them food, and beg them for help. Ibrahim watched silently. Deep inside, he knew these idols were powerless. They could not see, hear, or speak. He wondered how intelligent people could believe in such things. One day, Ibrahim A.S. saw his own father, Azar, carving statues out of stone. His father would sell these idols in the market. Ibrahim went to him and asked gently, "Father, why do you worship something that you make with your own hands? These idols cannot harm or benefit anyone." His father frowned and ignored his words. But Ibrahim did not stop. He went to the people and asked them similar questions. "Why do you worship what cannot hear you or help you?" The people laughed at him. Some became angry. Others thought he was just a foolish young man. But Ibrahim spoke with wisdom and calmness. His words made people think, even if they did not admit it. Day after day, Ibrahim continued to speak the truth. He told the people that there is only one God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who gives life and takes it. But the people were too attached to their idols and their traditions. They refused to listen. They started to mock him in public and warned him to stay silent. But Ibrahim A.S. did not give up. His heart was full of faith and his mission was clear. He decided to show them the truth in a way they would never forget. One night, as the city slept and the temple stood silent, Ibrahim looked at the idols lined up in the darkness. A bold plan began to form in his mind. A plan that would shake the entire kingdom and expose the false gods before everyone. His heart was firm. His faith was strong. He whispered to himself, "Tomorrow they will see." The next morning, when the city was quiet and everyone had gone to celebrate their annual festival outside the town, Ibrahim walked toward the great temple. The tall doors stood open, and inside were rows of idols, small, medium, and one giant idol in the center, decorated with gold and jewels. The people believed this big idol was the greatest of all. Ibrahim looked at the lifeless statues. They stood there silently, unable to move, unable to protect themselves, his heart filled with determination. Today the truth would be shown in a way no one could deny. He picked up a strong axe and approached the first idol. With one clear strike, crack! The statue broke. One by one, Ibrahim Is smashed the idols into pieces. The temple echoed with the sound of breaking stone. Arms, heads, and bodies of the statues scattered across the floor. Finally, Ibrahim walked to the biggest idol, but this time he did not strike it. Instead, he carefully hung the axe around its neck and left it standing. The silent temple was now filled with broken idols, except for the giant one. With calm steps, Ibrahim walked away, leaving behind a scene that would shock the entire city. When the people returned from the festival, they rushed to the temple to offer their prayers. What they saw left them speechless. Their gods were lying shattered on the ground. Panic spread. "Who has done this to our gods?" they cried. Some replied, "We heard a young man talking about them. His name is Ibrahim." The crowd grew angry and gathered around him. They dragged him toward the temple and shouted, "Did you do this, Ibrahim?" Ibrahim, A.S., stood fearlessly among them. He pointed toward the big idol with the axe and said calmly, "Ask the big one. If it can speak, it will tell you what happened." The people looked at each other in silence. They knew the big idol could not speak. They lowered their heads in shame because they had no answer. But their pride was stronger than the truth. Instead of accepting his words, they became furious. Their faces turned red with anger. Someone shouted, "Take him to the king!" Soon Ibrahim was brought before King Nimrod, the man who claimed to be a god. The grand court was filled with soldiers, advisors, and crowds eager to watch. Nimrod sat on his golden throne and looked at Ibrahim with a proud, arrogant smile. The king had heard of this young man's words, but now he wanted to face him himself. He leaned forward and said, "So you are the one who broke my gods." The moment had come. A great debate was about to begin, and the king was not ready for the truth that Ibrahim would speak. Ibrahim, A.S., stood confidently in the king's grand court. The hall was filled with guards, advisors, and a large crowd. King Nimrod looked at him with pride and anger. He thought no one could challenge his power. But today, he faced a young man who feared no one except Allah. Nimrod leaned forward on his throne and said proudly, "Who is this God you speak about, Ibrahim?" Ibrahim replied calmly, "My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death." Nimrod laughed and snapped his fingers. He called two prisoners. One he ordered to be killed and the other he set free. "See," the king said proudly, "I give life and death." Ibrahim, without fear, answered, "My Lord brings the sun from the east. Bring it from the west if you can." Nimrod was silent. He had no answer. Everyone in the court was shocked by Ibrahim's wisdom, but Nimrod's pride blinded him. Instead of accepting the truth, he became furious. "Burn him alive!" he shouted. "Let everyone see what happens to those who challenge me." His soldiers immediately began building a massive fire, the biggest anyone had ever seen. They collected wood for days. The flames grew so high that even birds could not fly above it. The heat was so intense that no one could get close to throw Ibrahim in. So they built a huge catapult to launch him into the fire from a distance. The day of the punishment arrived. Thousands of people gathered to watch. Some were laughing, some were silent, and some were afraid deep inside. Ibrahim stood calm and peaceful. His heart was full of trust in Allah. As they placed him on the catapult, he whispered words of faith and remembrance of his Lord. The catapult was released, and he was thrown into the heart of the fire. The crowd gasped, expecting to see him burn, but something miraculous happened. Allah commanded the fire, "O fire, be cool and safe for Ibrahim." Instantly, the flames lost their heat. The fire became like a garden, calm, peaceful, and harmless. Ibrahim sat inside unharmed, surrounded by the fire that could not touch him. The people stared in shock. The king's face turned pale. His plan had failed. No one had ever seen such a miracle. Ibrahim walked out of the fire unharmed. The crowd was silent, their eyes wide with amazement. Nimrod's pride was crushed, but his heart was too arrogant to believe. Ibrahim, A.S., knew that his message had been delivered clearly. The truth had been shown to everyone. But the people were stubborn, and the king refused to change. So Ibrahim made a decision. He would leave his homeland and follow Allah's command to spread the message in other lands. His journey of faith was not over. It was just beginning. After leaving his homeland, Prophet Ibrahim, A.S., traveled through different lands, always calling people to worship the one true God. Many years passed. He married and was blessed with a son, Ismail, A.S., in his old age. Ibrahim loved his son deeply, but soon Allah tested him with something very difficult. One day, Allah commanded Ibrahim to take his wife Hajar and baby Ismail to a far empty desert, a place with no water, no trees, and no people. It was the land of Makkah, which at that time was a silent, dry valley. Ibrahim, A.S., obeyed Allah without question. He left them there with a small amount of food and water, then turned and began to walk away. Hajar ran after him, asking, "Ibrahim, where are you going? Why are you leaving us here?" He did not answer. She asked again, "Did Allah command you to do this?" Ibrahim nodded. Then she said with faith, "Then Allah will not let us perish." She returned to her baby with a strong heart, trusting Allah completely. Days passed and their water finished. Baby Ismail began to cry from thirst. Hajar ran between the two hills of Safa and Marwa 7 times, searching for help. Suddenly, a miracle happened. From under baby Ismail's tiny feet, water began to flow. It was the blessed Zamzam water which still flows today. Allah had provided for them in the middle of the desert. Years passed. Ismail grew into a strong and obedient young boy. Then came another great test. One night, Prophet Ibrahim, A.S., had a dream. In that dream, Allah commanded him to sacrifice his beloved son. This was not an ordinary dream. It was a command from Allah. The next day, Ibrahim went to Ismail and said, "My dear son, I saw in my dream that I must sacrifice you. What do you think?" Ismail, A.S., full of faith, replied, "Father, do what you are commanded. You will find me patient if Allah wills." These words showed his deep submission to Allah's will. With a heavy heart but strong faith, Ibrahim, A.S., took his son to the place of sacrifice. He laid him down and prepared to obey Allah's command. Just as he was about to sacrifice Ismail, Allah called out, "O Ibrahim, you have fulfilled the vision." Allah replaced Ismail with a ram and accepted Ibrahim's obedience. This was not about taking a life. It was a test of love and submission. Ibrahim and Ismail both passed the test with complete faith. Allah blessed them and made this act a symbol of sacrifice for all believers, which Muslims remember every year during Eid al-Adha. Allah then gave Ibrahim Asas a great honor. He made him a leader of nations. He and Ismail rebuilt the Kaaba in Makkah, the house of Allah, which is visited by millions of believers today. Ibrahim's journey, filled with courage, patience, and faith, became a light for generations to follow. His story teaches us that true faith means trusting Allah completely, even when the tests are difficult. And so, the story of Prophet Ibrahim, A.S., ends not with sadness, but with Allah's promise fulfilled. His name is remembered with honor, his tests are remembered with respect, and his faith continues to inspire hearts around the world.